1 week, that's all that's left. The presidential candidates are now on a 7-day sprint before the first vote is held in Iowa next Monday. And there's some good news for Donald Trump. He's retaken the lead in Iowa over Ted Cruz, according to a new Fox News poll. He's now at 34%. Cruz at 23. Trump's also holding a strong lead in New Hampshire with 31% of the vote. And with just days left to go, the mudslinging between the two top GOP candidates is getting uglier.
Ted Cruz will approve the Keystone Pipeline because it benefits Canada. It's great. He could be the only guy. He'll run for president, then he'll run for prime minister of Canada.
I think the people of Iowa and the people of this country deserve more than politicians bickering like school children and insulting each other with schoolyard taunts. Not only will I not insult Donald Trump, I will sing his praises personally, but I do think policy is fair to him.
Cruz picked up some new endorsements. Glenn Beck backed him over the weekend, and former presidential candidate Rick Perry announced his support today. Marco Rubio also got a big endorsement this weekend from the Des Moines Register. He's downplaying it a bit, though, saying it doesn't make him the establishment pick for the nomination.
So the paper says you're the new face of the Republican Party. They say you're the best hope for Republicans. Does that make you the establishment?
No, it makes it that if I win the nomination, I'm going to unite the party, and we're going to beat Hillary Clinton. We need to win this election. We cannot lose this election. This country cannot afford another 4 years like the last 7.
I think everyone would agree on that. No one can afford to have another Democrat in the White House, especially one so strongly tethered to President Obama and his failed policies. Dana, so interesting the rhetoric there that Marco Rubio is choosing to seize on, that this does not make him the establishment candidate.
I thought the reporter's question was a little odd because he's talking about the endorsement and how he says you're the future of the party, you're the best thing for the party. So does that make you establishment? I'm not seeing the equation there, but I thought Marco handled that fine, and he's probably going to do a little bit better because Ted Cruz is starting to fall a little bit in Iowa in these final days. Obviously, Donald Trump is way up. And remember, most people in Iowa, a majority of them, will make up their minds about who they will vote for next Monday night in the last 5 days. And so that makes this coming Thursday's presidential debate so important.
Yeah. Okay. And real quick about the endorsement and getting the Des Moines Register, what do you think?
Well, I'm all for addition, not subtraction. I think anytime that you can add to your plate of people, these are the people that support me. And I think Ted Cruz getting the support of Glenn Beck and Rick Perry, again, adding, not subtracting at this point is really important. I did think that the Trump attack on the Keystone Pipeline was a little odd, since Republican voters for years have been pushing Obama and Hillary Clinton on that very issue. Not about Canada, but about jobs in America. And then later on in the show, we're going to show how he has an ad, that's an effective ad, about how he'll bring jobs to America, bring back more jobs. But on that one in particular, I thought he was a little off.
All right, Eric, what do you think about this? He's emphasis, as Dana's saying, jobs in America.
Interesting numbers that came out over the weekend. Trump and Cruz, 57% between the two of them. I mean, they are clearly the ones to beat, but that Trump jumped up so much, up to 34 and Cruz down to 23. That's interesting. Also, as far as endorsements go, I think this Governor Terry Branstad, the longest seated governor in America currently, also a Republican, saying vote for Trump, not Ted Cruz, was huge. And Senator Grassley is also traveling with Trump. That's very interesting to me as well. So those are, as far as endorsements go, I think those are important.
And you have Ernst traveling with
and
Rubio.
Joni Ernst traveling with Rubio. The Rubio issue that I find most interesting is Jeb Bush, his super PAC, has some severe attack ads on Marco Rubio. They're going after him hard on immigration and his voting record. And I'm sitting here trying to think, okay, if you add up Rubio, Jeb Bush, Chris Christie, and John Kasich, you're coming up with about 20% only. Instead of them going after each other, this crunch time, you might as well go after either Trump or Cruz. Or you don't want to go after Trump. Go after Cruz so you can at least maybe look at doing well in Iowa and then New Hampshire. But they're beating each other senseless. It doesn't make sense to me.
Unless they're trying to get a little bit higher up in the batting lineup to say, and be more in play to be the other choice in case the others
But Rubio's
implode.
only polling at 12. I mean, they're shooting at the guy who's got 12. I mean, go after the one with 23 or 34.
I gotcha. He's the top of those guys. But okay, great.
I can't wait for this to end, and it hasn't started yet. That's the amazing thing. This is the Super Bowl for people with dandruff and coffee breath, and they act like mudslinging They act like mudslinging is so unseemly, yet it happens every single election. Just count on the mudslinging. It's actually the only fun part in this. It's inevitable and it's entertaining. As for, I believe that the additions of endorsements are actually subtractions. Has the opposite effect for me. When somebody endorses something, I instinctively want to be against it because I'm a negative person. Like you see the two stars of Duck Dynasty. Like one is for Trump, one is for Cruz, and then the guy in Pawn Stars, he's for Rubio. I'm waiting to hear from Kim Kardashian's butt. I want to know what that's endorsing. It's stupid.
That counts for 2 votes. But
Okay. Nicely done.
But didn't she come out for Hillary?
I don't know.
She did a selfie with Hillary. I don't know if that qualifies. In the Kardashian world, it probably does qualify, right? A selfie equals endorsement, I guess. What I don't get about this whole thing is, you made a great point. Trump, they're all treating each other, the establishment candidates in New Hampshire especially, Rubio, Christie, Kasich, Bush, as though one of them needs to emerge to be the person to go up against Trump. Time's running out, my friends. Like, you're going to kill each other. One of you will emerge. By that point, Trump, if he solidifies both Iowa and New Hampshire, it's going to be really hard to beat. I mean, it makes no sense to me as to why they're not just going after him. They're all terrified of going after him. He's done a great job of basically cowing these people who want to be president of the United States into submission. I don't get it. If they can't put up with Donald Trump, how are they going to put up with Vladimir Putin? It makes no sense to me. You're right, Eric. They should go after him. You got to take down the guy who's on top, and they're not coming after him. They're coming after each other.
Or go after the guy who's in second place. Because if one of them were to establish a strong presence, say Marco Rubio, he's the closest to him. Did well and either won or came in second in Iowa and then won or came in second in New Hampshire, then you have made a case for a candidate. But beating each other up at this point in the game, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. All right. Well, more on that later. A lot later. Trump may have a big lead in the polls, but he's getting a lot of heat for these comments he made.
My people are so smart. And you know what else they say about my people? The polls. They say, I have the most loyal people. Did you ever see that? Where I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? It's like incredible.
All right, the next day he defended his use of tough rhetoric, but vowed to take a softer approach if he were to win the White House.
I'm dealing with all these people, and I have to be a little bit tough, and I have to be quick because I don't have enough time to be so nice, right? But if I'm president, I would have a little bit of a different demeanor, but don't worry. The demeanor would be a little bit different, but don't worry, it'll be the same attitude. You understand that, okay? We're not going to change. I'll be a little bit softer. Maybe the attitude will be tougher, but the words will be softer.
All right, so it'll be like Trump but soaking his hand in palm olive a little bit, so a little softer feel or approach. What did you guys think about this? Julie, we'll go around.
I got to tell you, how condescending to his own supporters. You guys are so stupid that I could shoot somebody, but meanwhile, you're still going to vote for me. If I were one of Trump's supporters, I'd say,
I'd shoot someone.
I'd shoot somebody to see if he really, yeah, exactly. I feel like I dare you. Go ahead and shoot somebody. I'm not that stupid. I think it's incredibly condescending, but I guess people are drinking the Kool-Aid so much, they don't feel condescended to, despite the fact that he, in fact, is being very condescending.
Okay. Eric, you see it that way?
But he did defend it by saying he was kidding, obviously, and then and if you let the tape roll a little bit, people are laughing, and he'll tell you that. However, his point is this: he has very adamant supporters. They're on board no matter
including
what.
Adam Ant.
I will tell you what though.
Well, they're baked in. He has strong support
everyone's
for his
watching
ideas,
this, right?
right.
And we're applying it to his supporters over Ted Cruz or Marco Rubio or Jeb Bush. Apply it to Hillary Clinton, and then further on, apply it to world leaders. World leaders are watching, going, "Wow, this guy's got backing. He's got people behind him." I think. Clearly, he's there. He's making the case. He grabs the news cycle. Look, we've talked about him twice now in 9 minutes, so he knows what he's doing. But I think it portrays strength on the global stage.
Okay, Dana.
Well, on the shooting someone on Fifth Avenue thing, I think the reason it was funny is because there's always a little bit of truth to anything that is humorous. So, of course, that was kind of funny, and he gets the joke, and we get the joke, and it's funny. I do think that we don't understand a couple of things in this election. One, the polling is different because of people no longer having landlines as much anymore. So the polling in the last couple of elections has been a little off. I think in this one, we don't exactly know. The other thing is that it has been proven that you don't have to, it's not the best benefit to have the most money. So Jeb's super PAC has had the most money. He's been spending a ton of it, a lot of it to beat up Marco Rubio, who then has had to spend money defending himself on that. That actually hasn't helped in that regard. And so I don't know if the money game is necessarily going to be as important as social media in particular. The ads for social media are having more of a staying impact with people than ones that are running on television. That is changing the election in a lot of different ways. So we might learn a little bit more within this month, seeing Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina vote.
All right, we'll see how it's going to play out. So, Greg, smart strategy, his aggressive hyperbole?
Yes, I mean, you said it's a little bit of truth. I say it's all truth. What he said was 100% factual. If he shot one person on Fifth Avenue, his followers would say, only one? You probably could have gotten 4 or 5 more. That's a good thing. And to Eric's point, that we've looked at other countries and we go, wow, you see so much anger and extremism. Isn't it time for our anger and our extremism? What if we had a large faction of really angry people? Maybe that would make the world look at us differently. But this is also, it speaks to a bigger issue. And this is an autocrat. This is an authoritarian movement. People are looking for power. They're looking for strength. They're looking for a despot. That's what they want, and that's what he was speaking to, and he's 100% right.
You know why? Because they don't trust government. They don't trust.
But they put their trust in one man then.
But they don't trust. Yeah, but they're not happy with what's going on in the House, what's going on in the Senate, and politics as usual.
So hand it over to one guy. It's kind of like what Woody Allen said about Barack Obama when he says, why can't he just be a dictator for 2 years?
But you nailed it. That's the one common denominator Trump supporters have. It's not their party. It's not anything else. It's the autocracy. It's that they want an autocrat. And that's exactly what polling has shown. And it's interesting that you pointed that out because that is across the board. Democrats or Republicans who are attracted to him, that's what they're attracted to.
And it's a law of the jungle. You know, the primate that pounds its chest the loudest gets the most support. Not saying Trump's a primate.
Else. Well, it's also, yes. True. So it's also natural selection. So there you go.
Of bees.
Yeah, we worked in the evolutionary aspect.
So are we lumping Ted Cruz supporters in that? They're looking for the authoritarian autocrat to run?
I don't think so, because as an ideology, conservatism is generally against the autocrat.
But my point is that between the two of them, they've had between 50 and 60% of the vote for virtually the whole primary, the whole season so far.
But Cruz is getting the true conservatives. People are not attracted to Trump because he's a conservative necessarily. I know we'll talk about that later. They're attracted to his autocracies, as Greg pointed out, and that's the common denominator.
There was a poll in Politico last week showing that.
Yeah, even Rush pointed it out, that nationalism right now is trumping conservatism.
Right. But what Cruz lost in these latest polls went to Trump. So, you know,
but I think the birtherism
is there a crossover? Maybe there's crossover.
I think the birtherism stuff really hurt Cruz.
Shaved points for sure. So that was the goal, right? He said he's doing better against me, so now I'm going to hit him. He was honest about that. Now, is Trump conservative enough to be the GOP nominee? That's the pregunta. Proximo. Wow. The growing rift among Republicans over that. I just picked up some votes. Before we go, a programming note. Set your DVRs because the 5 is heading to Iowa. Don't miss our live shows this Friday, Saturday, and Monday from Caucus Country at 5 p.m. Eastern. We cannot wait and hope you're going to join us.